Kia ora and welcome to Living Life as Easy As with HappyNess. Hi, as easy as is. I hope you guys have been having an amazing week. But today I have got a very deep and philosophical question for you guys. If you are faced with death, or when it comes time for your passing and you know it's close, are you going to be sitting there having regrets? Regrets about the things you didn't accomplish, the regrets about the things you didn't do, the regrets about the dreams you didn't fulfill. Regrets. Are you going to have any? It's a sad, sad day when you're sitting there having regrets. And I do not want to die with some regrets that are inside of me. And I'm going to make sure that I do these things so that I don't sit there in my dying days telling rest home workers or my great-grandchildren all about the stories of the things that I never did and that I didn't achieve and that I didn't have the courage to do. I don't want to be sitting in an old folks home telling people my regrets. I'm going to be sitting in my V8 rocking chair telling people why they need to live their life to the fullest. But why am I talking to you about this today? So a few months ago I came across an article about a lady called Bronnie Ware. Now she's a rest home worker, she's an Australian rest home worker, spent many years working in a rest home and listening to these beautiful people's stories of regrets. So much so, it stirred so much in her that she decided to write a book about it, about the 5 things you may regret at the end of your life. And I found this very, very interesting, and why it resonated with me is when I was a 14-year-old girl, my friends and I, Debbie and Robin, hi Robin, still friends, we used to traipse ourselves out after school to Wairau Hospital to Ward 8, and it was more commonly known as the Ward of No Return. And the patients up there were there as their last port of call. This was their last stop on the planet Earth before they left this land. And so they were all there, elderly and all there to die. And we used to go up there and just inject a little bit of ray of sunshine and a little bit of joy and a little bit of happiness in their dying days. And we used to read them stories, paint their nails, do their hair, read them their letters. If we could get away with it, take them for wheelchair races up the corridors. Just anything to bring a little bit of sparkle and a little bit of silliness to their dying days. But more often we would sit and listen. And we would listen to these stories of regrets, the same ones I'm about to share with you shortly that Bronnie wrote down in her book. And this is why it really resonated with me, because I've heard these stories firsthand, many of them. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to sit there in my golden years and retell stories that I never achieved or that I never got to do. They'd hold my hands and when I was 14 and they'd go, oh dear, don't waste your life. I heard that from so many of the people in that Ward 8. Don't waste your life, make the most of it. Now at 14 it fell on deaf ears, and it's not been recently until I've gone on this journey of seeking happiness that I have reflected back on those days and just how much of a learning experience that is for me, and to reflect back on it and what I can take from those people. Yeah, so no, I'm changing my story plan. I'm going to be sitting in that V8 rocking chair telling some rocking stories to my great grandkiddies. But anyway, let me share some of the regrets that Bronnie wrote down that I resonated with, because I've heard these same stories. These are her 5 top regrets. Number 1, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself and not the life others expected of me. And this was the most common regret of all. And yes, oh my gosh, how many people out there started off living the life that their parents wanted of them. Their parents said they have to go to university and study law degrees, and their parents wanted them to push them into dancing and push them into this and to do this. And it is really, really sad. And I think, there's no joy and happiness in living somebody else's dream or somebody else's life. we've got to let our children make their own choices for their future life. We can steer them in the right directions by all means, and we must tell them the direction that's not good for them, drugs and all that sort of stuff. But let them make their own decisions about their career, and this is where their joy and their happiness will come from, is making their own choices to create their own happiness. And our job as parents is to bring them up with strong values and that sort of stuff, so that they make the right decisions when it comes time to choosing the life they want for themselves. So I know that there's many out there that have gone down the path of what their parents have wanted them to be, and it's just created resentment and no fulfillingness, and it carries through into their marriage and then on to their children. So yeah, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself and not the life others expected of me. Brilliant. Number 2, I wish I didn't work so hard. And this came from every male patient that I nursed. They missed their children's youth and their partner's companionship. Oh, I've heard this story from many dads. But what bothers me now is the amount of mums that are also now in the workforce, or both the mum and the dad, all full-time working in the workforce now. Now, if we know this to be a problem years gone by, and yet we're multiplying it by the mothers now going into the workforce full-time. So this one scares me. I wish I didn't work so hard. We're all doing the opposite to this. We're all working really hard. And the sad thing is that everybody's working so hard to live a lifestyle beyond their means, to maintain mortgages they can't afford, to maintain cars they can't afford. Is it important to work yourself to the bone, to be, work for your, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but just, you shouldn't be working to maintain a lifestyle. The lifestyle should be around your work, something like that I'm trying to get out of. Yeah, I think you know where I'm coming from, but yeah, that really bothers me that now both the mothers and the fathers are in the workforce. I wish I didn't work so hard. It was a dying regret of so many people, and including, as Bronnie says, every male patient. So that's a scary one. Number 3, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Many people suppress their feelings in order to keep peace with others. Oh, heck yes, guilty of that. As a result, they settled for the mediocre existence and never became who they were truly capable of becoming. Many developed illnesses relating to the bitterness and resentment they carried as a result. Oh my gosh, yes. So I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. And that is so true. I'm not talking about expressing feelings by saying, oh, I don't like what that lady's wearing, or, blah, blah, blah. This is the feelings of how you are feeling inside, expressing your feelings so you are heard about how you're feeling about a situation. And so many people don't speak up, and that's, we end up in abusive relationships, or we get taken for granted. But yeah, many people suppress their feelings in order to keep peace with others. That was how I used to live my life. I used to just, shut up, just go with the flow, keep the peace, not wanting to upset the apple cart, and that was detrimental to my feelings. Need to find some balance where everybody's feelings are considered. So really like that one. Number 3, wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Number 4, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. Once they would not truly realize, or often they would not truly realize the full benefits of old friends until their dying weeks. Many had become so caught up in their own lives that they had let golden relationships slip by over the years. There were many deep regrets not giving friendships the time and effort they deserved. Everyone misses their friends when they are dying. Oh my God, if you've got golden relationships, stay hold of them, keep hold of them, because yes, often couples, when they lose their partner, and they've let their friendships go by over the years, they lose a partner, and then what do you have? You have nothing. You've got to keep your friendships. Not only that, but they give you moments of laughter and joy and honesty, and friendships are amazing things. And if you've got golden friendships, then nurture them and keep them and have them for a lifetime. Because if you do lose your partner, oh my God, it's a time when your friends become very, very valuable to you. But friendships, that's one of the 5 regrets, is people letting golden friendships slip by. And it's because they're hiding things. They don't want people to know what's going on in the home. Oh, look, your true friends need to be there for you in those situations. I've learnt that the hard way, but I've now learnt friendships, my golden ones, my dear, dear friends, I will keep hold of you forever. I love yous. And then number 5, I wish that I had let myself be happier. And this is where I come in. I wish I had let myself be happier. This is a surprisingly common one, Bronnie wrote. Many did not realize until the end that happiness was a choice. Hell yeah, and I'll explain that in a minute, why I believe it's a choice. They had stayed stuck in old habits and patterns, they so-called comfort of familiarity that overflowed into their emotions as well as their physical lives. Fear of change had them pretending to others and to themselves that they were content. When deep within they longed to laugh properly and have silliness in their lives again. Okay, so happiness is a choice. And so when I realised that happiness is a choice, when I look back at my time at working in Ward 8 with the dying, and our job was to go up there and bring them joy and happiness. And the doctors and the nurses used to say to us, oh my God, you girls do such a wonderful job for these people up here. And what I realise now is that, no, we didn't do a wonderful job for them. They chose to come on board with us. They chose to accept and enjoy with us in our happiness, ultimately in their happiness. It's still a choice that they chose to come on board, because some of them would welcome us with open arms. We'd go up there and they'd just look at us with sheer delight and joy and couldn't wait to what we had to offer and bring to them today. And they chose to come on board. They chose that happiness in that moment, because there were other people up there that didn't want a bar of us. Not a bar. In fact, some of them would go, oh, go away, you silly little girl. I don't want to see you. What are you doing here? Get out of here. And they didn't want to embrace with us. They didn't want to share in our joy and our happiness. And that was their choice. So they chose to be angry and bitter. And there were many, though, that chose to, at that time, accept our joy. But they chose it. They chose our happiness. They chose their happiness. And that's how I know that happiness is a choice. Even in their dying days, they chose to be happy with us. We weren't bringing them joy. They were, by accepting what we had to offer. And that's how I know that happiness is a choice. At any stage, at any age, at any time. Anyway, don't go dying with regrets, people. If you've got burning things within you, go ahead and make them happen. Keep your golden friendships golden forever. Live the life that you want to live, not from expectations of other people. Don't die with regrets, okay? Don't die with regrets. And the magic of a womble. Anyway, much aroha to each and every one of you. Till next time.